Hello, Professor Owens. My name is Joanna Carrillo. My final presentation will focus on the portrayal of indigenous religions in the film Apocalypto. The film portrays the ancient Mayan civilization. It depicts some of the Mayan culture's perceived religious beliefs and practices. The film was released in 2006, and it was written and directed by Mel Gibson. However, Farhad Safina co-wrote the script. And it takes place in the 16th century in the Central American jungles during the period of the ancient Mayan civilization. A brief synopsis. The protagonist's name is Jaguar Paul, and his village is invaded by an indigenous group perceived to be the Mayans, who are seeking to capture slaves to offer as sacrifices. However, Jaguar Paul manages to hide his family in order to avoid captivity. And so throughout the film, he fights to return to his village in order to save his family. However, he must overcome various challenges throughout the film, including facing his fears and escaping death and persecution. So this particular scene in the film is a scene about human sacrifice. You can see this image. You can see the Great Mayan city below, and to the right you see the king as well as the high priest, and this is just a preparation of what the ritual looks like. These are more images from that scene that are familiar. On the upper right-hand side, you can see the slaves that are being held in captivity. And below that, you can see the image of a high priest who is addressing both the people of the Great Mayan city as well as the gods. And to the left is just another image of the ritual or the preparation of the ritual for human sacrifice. So in this particular scene, we can delve a little further to some of the practices that are evident and some of the elements that we see. Chanting and dancing can be seen, and they're chanting in a Mayan dialect. The men are painted blue and led to a large step pyramid where they are being sacrificed. And it is here that the high priest performs a ritual and offers a sacrifice to their god Kukulkan, which is a serpent deity, where he removes their hearts before beheading them. This is an image of the serpent god Kukulkan. It actually looks slightly frightening. And what's interesting about this particular scene is its ending. So Jaguar Paw is awaiting his fate. However, a solar eclipse occurs. And it is here that the high priest announces that it's a signal from the gods that they are satisfied. Therefore, Jaguar Paul manages to be spared from human sacrifice. Some of the religion themes that we can see is obviously sacrifice, human and animal, sacred space, which is the contact with ancestor spirits or the divine world. And in this particular scene, you can see also what is known as the shaman. The deities, the Mayans believed in many gods, including lesser gods, the ethic of restraint, and human relationships with nature. The protagonist's name is Jaguar Paw, and the forest and the jaguar itself, the jungle, serve as symbols for just in general how their day-to-day living. So when we compare the film to the actual readings and the lectures that we've learned, is that this portrayal is a little bit extreme and violent. It has received a lot of criticism for its controversial and inaccurate portrayal of human sacrifices. There is no record of human sacrifices being carried out on such a large scale, especially with the Mayan civilization. It is more common for animal sacrifices to have been performed, and human sacrifices were actually rare. So to summarize, we have three main themes: sacrifice, which in the film is portrayed inaccurately; deities, which was an accurate portrayal because the Mayans did believe in many gods, including Kukulkan; And sacred space, accurate portrayal because there was the belief that the divine and spiritual world were accessible to the ordinary world. And this can be observed through the communication between the earth, the solar eclipse, and the response that the high priest and the shaman give. So that concludes my presentation. I'll leave you with a quote. It's been a pleasure taking this course. I've really had a wonderful learning experience.